Alvin Reyes, thank you for being on the show.
Salamat. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kailan ka dumating ng Australia?
November 2008. I came from New Zealand. Doon ako nag-bridging ng January to May 2008. Tapos nag-work ako for 6 months. Tapos, ayun, lumipat na ako dito.
Bakit? Ba't ka lumipat ng Australia?
Tumawag yung best friend ko. At the time, she was a trainee doctor sa Sydney. Tumawag siya, sabi niya, anong ginagawa mo sa New Zealand? Sabi ko, working, nag-iipon. Yan. And then, sabi niya, mas may buhay dito. There are more people here, tsaka para magkasama tayo. So, she suggested for me to apply. Sabi niya, just try it. Di ginawa ko naman. Tapos, ayun, nag-apply lang ako, nag-send lang ako ng CV, ginawa application form, and then, I got a phone call for an interview. Tapos before you know it, I have the job offer, that was the work visa, and I think after maybe 2 weeks, all in all, the whole process took 2 weeks nasa Australia na ako.
Ano yung work mo sa Pilipinas before ka nag-move ng New Zealand and Australia?
Yeah, nurse din. I was a nurse sa Children's Hospital in Quezon City. Ano yan? Philippine Children's Medical Center. I worked there for 11 months before going overseas.
Saan ka graduate? Nag-nursing ka ba? Nag-aaral?
Yeah. So, saan ako gumraduate? Actually, double courser ako. So, I did biology pre-med sa DLSU. I took a year off. And then, nag-nursing ako sa Fatima. Sa Quezon City.
Fatima ka pala? Laging baha dun eh.
Ha?
Laging baha dun, di ba?
No, sa Venezuela yun. Valenzuela. Sa Valenzuela yun. Sa Quezon City, hilltop yung campus namin sa mataas.
Ito na yung tanong.
Yes.
Kung nanalo ka sa loto ng 50 million, tinasa natin.
50 na ngayon.
Dati 10 lang. 50 million. Nag-request eh. Sabi nila, baba daw ng 10. Gawin natin 50. Nanalo ka sa loto ng 50 million. Will you give up your life in Australia to move back to the Philippines or magstay ka din dito? For good wala nang balikan.
Ay, walang balikan. Wala bang option na 50-50, kalahati?
May tourist, pwede mag-tourist.
Yes.
Pero
well, I think I have more to lose if I move back permanently to the Philippines. So, mas lugi ako. So I'll stick with what I have. Unless pwedeng 50-50, then I'll say yes. Or kalahati ng money, ganyan.
Sige, what do you have to lose? Ito na. Bakit maliit yung 50 million na offer?
May mga rules kasi ang if you're a property owner, may mga tax rules around retirement in Australia na kailangan more than half of the time you're here. You're in the country. So kung lalagpas ka doon, maraming mawawala sa iyo.
Bakit sa Australia mo pinili pumunta? Why not America, Canada, other countries?
Actually, hindi ko pinili ang Australia, 'di ba? Initially, I was in New Zealand. Bumagsak kasi ako ng NCLEX. So, yun yung licensure exam for America. Back in the day, pupunta ka pa sa Hong Kong to do the exam. So, punta ako pero hindi ako nag-aaral. So, bumagsak ako. So, it would have been difficult parang I'm sure I could have taken it again, prepared better, pero hindi ko na siya ginawa kasi nagkaroon na ng opportunity to go to New Zealand at the time.
So you're 42, living in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you are retired. Tama ba?
Yeah.
So first, what's your personal definition of retirement?
Only doing things that you're choosing to do. So, wala kang obligation to come to work, to clock in, to do overtime, to do night shifts. Having that freedom, I suppose, is my definition of retirement.
So for being a full-time nurse, na ngayon you are retired, which is you're 40, that's very unusual kahit sa anong lahi. How did you get there? Ano yung naging susi?
Maybe first changing the mindset from that of an employee to an investor. So that's the first one, and then second is implementing the changes that need to happen. So doing the actual investing. Ano yun you can either choose to have a life that is difficult now but easy later, or easy now and hard and difficult later. So I just chose the first one.
So real estate investing yung naging daan for you to retire early. How did you start?
I started by reading a lot of books. So Robert Kiyosaki was very, very instrumental. I think I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad siguro mga 100 times, no kidding. Kasi I'm a slow learner, and so I don't think with books, with self-help books, parang hindi pwedeng pasadahan mo lang ng minsan. I think kailangan isabuhay mo siya. You really need to understand it, and understand means isabuhay mo, di ba? You make it part of you. So that's the start, is to seek the right knowledge that you need for you to reach your goals. Pero, and siguro part of it is to come up with goals that you would work hard enough on. So kung ano yung why mo, why are you doing this? Why would you do overtime when you can easily say no? Or bakit ka magtitipid when you have the temptation to do a lot of, you can spend on other things.
So how does a 42-year-old Filipino living in Melbourne spend his day?
I read a lot. So ang average ko would be about 4 hours. So
4 hours of reading.
Of reading a day. So I also receive siguro on average mga 5 phone calls from people asking, sharing with me their situation and what would I suggest. I always tell people I don't like to dish out advice kasi baka masisi ako. So I would always phrase my answers as, kung kapatid kita, ang sasabihin ko sa iyo ganito.
Yeah.
Or kung ako ay nasa sa position mo, I will ask the bank, or I will ask the broker, or I will ask my property manager the following questions. So para lang magkaroon sila ng idea na available pala yung mga ganitong options. Ayan. So I receive 5 of those, and then by then I would have my siesta.
What time is siesta?
Mga 2 to 4.
Do you take a nap?
2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It varies, depende kasi kung may mga phone calls ka pa, so you will sleep a bit later, or if you anticipate a phone call mga 3 o'clock, di matutulog ka na maaga. So medyo matakaw ako sa tulog. On average, I have about 10 hours a day. Tapos when I get up, I would go for a walk. I would call my parents. Tapos ayun, quality time with Victor. And then bedtime na.
Yes, and the next day, same.
Yes. Well, sometimes, like we were at the cafe earlier, sometimes I would volunteer there. Depende kung anong bet ko gawin. I guess that's it. It's that freedom that kung ano yung gusto ko. Like next week we will fly to Sydney, but it's indefinite. We don't have a return ticket kasi wala naman ako. I don't need to be here for whatever reason. So yeah, that's that.
For someone who's starting sa real estate investing, how much do they need to invest? Magkano yung dapat na ipon nila, and then their safety net?
It's really a broker question, but based on experience, it would depend on the on your profession, kasi there are banks that waive the lender's mortgage insurance. So meaning, okay, an example would be a nurse. If you're a registered nurse, all you need is 10% deposit. Hindi ka na magbabayad ng LMI, the stamp duty. And that stamp duty, you can calculate that sa State Revenue Office calculator. And you will need a buffer. So maybe about 3 to 6 months, depending on your risk appetite. Buffer to cover yung mga mortgage expenses, kung vacant yung property, stuff like that.
So you're 42. You have a total of 13 properties.
Yeah.
In Australia alone.
Yeah. So 3 of those are within self-managed super fund. And then the rest are under our personal names. Me, myself, and my partner Victor.
And how long did it take you to get to this level of properties?
I started in 2013.
Wow, so almost like 1 property per year.
It's not as straightforward as that kasi I made a lot of mistakes eh. So over the years I had to get rid of some properties. So many mistakes. So, nagtiwala ako sa mga wrong people giving you advice. So magbebenta ka ng hindi perfect timing.
Yeah.
So but all of those parang you will manage. You learn as you go. Hindi naman pwedeng lahat done perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Although there are people who because of my negative experiences, sila na yung nagbe-benefit. So I tell them na this is what happened to me, kaya nagkaroon ako ng delays.
Yeah.
So now it can be done a lot faster than 10 years.
Next question, you can answer this or not. But what do you think is your net worth currently?
Oh, I'm not sure. We will find out on Wednesday actually, kasi yung broker ko will do a valuation of all the properties.
Roughly, what do you think? Or where you want to be right now?
I have no idea.
Throw a number.
Siguro 5 maybe. I don't know. Pero depende sa valuation.
So we'll see. So we'll do another interview after Wednesday. Another kwentuhan. No, good. So you nabuhay ka. You lived in Sydney before.
Yes.
Diba? And then now you're in Melbourne. Ilang years ka sa Sydney?
From 2008 to 2020, so 12 years.
Now, and how long you're in Melbourne now?
3 years.
Bakit? What's the big difference na nakita mo?
The reason for moving?
Yeah.
We were supposed to come here for a week. Naka-backpack lang kami ni Victor. We were checking out a warehouse for a badminton center. Tapos na lockdown, so na-delay yung flight. Na-cancel yung flight. So we extended for a week. Tapos na-extend yung lockdown. So at that stage parang nasabi namin maybe this is a sign from God to relocate. So ayun, nag-decide kami to move. We tried it first. We tried it for 6 months and we liked it. So we stayed. We ended up staying.
Ano yung biggest motivator? Kasi, di ba, full-time nurse and then pumasok ka ng real estate. Bakit real estate? Bakit hindi ka nag-open ng cafe? Bakit hindi ka nag-e-commerce? Or completely change career?
Siguro kasi if you read Robert Kiyosaki, you will realize that most wealthy people did so with the help of real estate. Maaring hindi lahat exclusively from real estate, but most of them will have real estate as a chunk of their portfolio. So if it's good enough for the billionaires, why can't it be good enough for me? So yun yung inaral ko. and it's more passive than let's say owning a cafe. You're there a lot. You're spending a lot of time working on it. So it's for me it's similar to unemployment because you're still trading time for money. Whereas with real estate, yes, you do your research, but then you stop. Pagka nandyan na, you just allow time to work its magic.
It's almost like a passive income.
It is. Except for the start. Pero kapag once you've done your research, o di capitalize on that. Kung nag-research ka na sa area, o di maximize it.
Ano yung mga biggest challenges na transitioning from being a full-time nurse to a full-time real estate investor?
I wouldn't say I'm a full-time real estate investor. It's just that that's my sole means of earning a living at the moment. Pero the transition, siguro feeling the time, kasi in 2018 I had an option to retire then. But I didn't know what to do. So ang ginawa ko, nag-part-time ako. So I did 0.5. So what I was working siguro was a week on, week off. Pero there was a lot of time that was left, and I couldn't fill it with activities. So that was the biggest hurdle.
Can you share some specific strategies naman to become a successful in real estate?
Specific strategies. Okay, now these things worked for me. I'm not saying that pero there are a million ways to get to early retirement. But the first thing that I did was rent vesting. So sinacrifice ko yung desire to buy an owner-occupied house. Actually, we just bought our owner-occupied house recently. So I can't remember kung sang book ko siya nabasa na your owner-occupied should be at the end, not at the start, if you want to build a portfolio. So that's the first one. Second is siguro sticking to the numbers, understanding the numbers, making sure that you don't overextend yourself. You don't buy yung having a sweet spot ng property. You don't buy too expensive a property or too cheap. Yung understand the right type of property for you. Yung mga nagdo-double every 7 to 10 years. So yun, mga ganong research.
Did you hear any weird comments from family and friends, or even strangers, when you tell them, I'm retired already and I'm only 42?
Not friends, but acquaintances. Family, no. I think they knew that I would not be working for too long. Siguro, yeah, from acquaintances na what would you do with your time? What are you doing? It's too early. Stuff like that. Parang sayang yung course mo. Tas and then they would highlight na nagdalawang courses pa. Twice ako nag-uni. So, but it's just noise.
I like just noise, yeah. What advice would you give someone who's just starting into real estate?
Start with the end in mind, maybe. So be clear with what your goals are. If you have a clear goal, you will get there. Second, maybe don't reinvent the wheel. Just copy find someone who's done whatever it is you want to do, and then just ask. If you ask the right person, they will say yes and help you. They would feel privileged to help, actually, kasi successful people want to pay it forward. Third, you don't want to wait for all the lights to turn green before you move. So there will never be perfect timing. In hindsight, yes, it was perfect timing to buy at the start of the pandemic. But at the time, 'di ba, people were panicking. So there's no such thing. Hindi mo malalaman yan na parang, oh, now is the perfect time. So just start. Just start even though it's not perfect.
How was early retirement impacted your life?
I think I'm more aligned with what my calling is. I'm able to work on it more effectively because I don't have the burden of employment. So how has it impacted my life? Very significantly, kasi I'm aligned with what I'm here for. As far as I believe.
So you're 42, you're retired. That's middle age.
Yes.
The way they, how they say it.
Yeah.
Middle age. What's your plan? Doon sa kalahati pa ng buhay mo. Because, most people, they just work till they're 60
Yeah.
or 70, diba? Especially in Australia.
Yeah.
40, parang tapos ka na eh. What do you plan to do for the rest? Another 40 years?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm finished yet. Siguro I'm finished with employment, but I'm not finished yet. There's still a lot of people needing help. So, I don't know if you knew, I volunteer at an orphanage in Pasig in the Philippines. Actually, the proceeds of the book is for that orphanage. And it's just one orphanage. Ang dami sa Philippines. And ang daming ministries, hindi lang orphanages. So, there's so many people that need help. And there are a lot of people who would want to know how to have the means to help their own ministries as well. So that's why I'm here. That's why kapag kami nagtanong sa akin, kahit na hindi ko kilala, for example, mag-reach out sa Facebook, I would just answer their question. Pero sometimes hindi ako magaling mag-text, hindi ako masipag mag-text. So I would book a time to call just so ma-address lahat ng tanong nila. And I think I will do that until the day I die.
So you wrote a book. Here you go. I'll let you explain. So what's the title? What is it about? Okay. Who is it for? And how can we get a copy?
Okay. So the title is Ninong A's Pocket Guide. It's property investing lessons that I learned on the road to early retirement. Ano yung question? Who is it for? So it is for anyone who wants to start investing or want to get a leg up in improving their mindset, or for people who don't know where to start. Kasi hindi naman kailangan ready na yung finances mo for you to start learning. You have to start learning so that when your finances are ready, you're good. You're ready to pounce. Diba? That's luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So you have to be prepared first. So that's why education is an important factor, component of investing.
And how can we get a copy?
How can you get a copy? If you're in the Philippines, you can go to Mega Mall A, Central Books. You can get a copy there. Meron din sa Shopee. I just don't know how to do it sa Shopee, so you'll just have to look for it there. If you're here in Australia, I do it differently here in Australia kasi I don't accept people's money. I want the buyer to pay directly to the orphanage. So I think it's better that way. So yeah, you'll have to reach me on Facebook.
DM Ninong A to get a copy. Ano yung advice na mabibigay mo sa mga mag-partner, mag-asawa, or mag-boyfriend, girlfriend, na yung isa, they're into investing, pero yung other partner, they're scared?
Siguro address why they're scared. And oftentimes it's because of some unknown variable. Kunyari, marami siyang mga what ifs, then address that. For example, what if the property prices go down? O di i-address nyo yun pareho as a couple. Hindi ka kasi pwedeng ikaw mag-i-invest, si partner hindi. You're in this life together. So, ito, mga love advice na to. But it's easier to go through the hard, kasi you will inevitably face hardships sa investing journey. But it's easier to overcome them if you have someone with you. If you have a partner that you can rely on. So I think it's worth the investment of addressing their fears to start with. Yeah, I think you should start there.
Wow. Yeah, communication. Kung magbabakasyon ka bukas sa Pilipinas, saan ka pupunta?
Jollibee.
Lugar. Jollibee. Saan probinsya? Well, most of the provinces na may Jollibee na eh. Saang province or saang...
Siguro sa amin sa Bulacan, sa farm ng lola ko. Yeah, makipagkwentuhan na ako sa kanya. Kakain, yan, magkikwentuhan, papasyal sa palengke, bili ng kakanin, ganyan.
Anong Filipino street food yung miss mo na?
Buchi.
Sarap.
So,
ano pa?
Very good. Ano pa ba? Biko. Yung biko na yung nilalako sa kalsada, yung nakabilao. So, yun. I think I can eat half of a bilao.
Ano yung mga bagay, a few things in the Philippines na sana meron din sa Australia?
Jollibee is one. Cause I think,
Jollibee talaga eh, no?
Yeah. I think, dahil wala tayo, feel natin yung pagiging deprived natin.
Yeah.
Pero pag pumunta ako kunyari sa Milan or sa Rome,
Daya, no?
Sila, ang dami nila.
US, London.
Sa London, they have 2. So, yun yung mga unfair. But life is unfair. Don't expect life to be fair. Siyempre, may mga sila. May mga edge sila sa atin.
Jollibee, ano na? Ilang taon na? Bakit sa tingin mo ang daming Filipino na gusto mag-migrate sa Australia? Ano yung meron dito na very attractive?
I think it's the means to be able to get out of the cycle of poverty. You can do that in a lifetime. You can do that in half a lifetime. To be able to turn that around. Kasi sa Philippines, although I do know people who were able to through business, but never through employment, get out of not necessarily poverty, pero diba from their economic circumstances to go up a few notches higher. I think it's more available here. Kasi diba medyo commonplace dito eh na mag-work tapos they start a business or nag-invest and then they're able to retire early or they're able to help their families more than they would have been able to kung nasa Philippines sila with the income and kasi yung income to expense ratio is a bit better here, I suppose.
Anong advice yung mabibigay mo sa mga Pinoy na gustong pumunta ng Australia?
I'd say do it, but be strategic about it. So, it's good to dream, pero follow that dream with, diba? I mean, for example, gusto mong magpunta ng Australia pero ayaw mong mag-review for the English exam. Aba, di lulugar ka. So hanggang dream lang 'yon or pupunta ka man dito, mahihirapan ka. Kasi ang mga naririnig ko na parang sa Australia na ako mag-English exam kasi mas madali. It's a standardized test. Kung mahihirapan ka sa Pilipinas, mahihirapan ka rin dito. So I think once you form your dream, your goal, complement it with the necessary hard work, that it entails, parang the discipline that it entails, and do it now. Do it when you can. You should have done it yesterday.
What is the most important lesson you've learned here in Australia?
Work don't make a career out of work. It's use it as a stepping stone for bigger things. It's a very financial lesson, but when you implement it, it opens up a lot of opportunities. It opens up a lot of doors. Na before they used to be close to you.
If there's one thing na makakapagpabalik sa'yo sa Pilipinas for good, ano ito at bakit?
Pag ni-request ng parents ko, which I doubt, kasi sila kasi they just want us to be happy. And all three of us, kaming tatlong magkakapatid, are all here. So, yun lang siguro ang makakapagpabalik sa or if my calling takes me to working full time in a ministry, I would say yes to that. Yeah, so maybe those two.
Saan mo gusto tumanda? Retired ka na di ba? Nasa Australia ka.
Yeah.
Pero kung papapiliin ka, Pilipinas o Australia to spend the rest of your life?
Oh, pwede bang parang ginagawa ng parents ko. So they're half the time they're there, half the time they're here. So umiiwas sila sa winter, so you get the best of both worlds. Hangga't malakas ka pa at kaya mo pang lumipad. I don't know if I have to choose.
Kung isa lang.
Kung isa lang. Yeah, siguro sa Pilipinas, sa tabing dagat. Ganyan. With the comforts that I can get here as well. Ang complicated na sagot. Ang daming conditions.
No, that's it. We're done. Alvin Reyes, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.